Good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Good morning. So we are starting with the prayer.
भेद भाव अपने दिल से साफ कर सके, दोस्तों से भूल हो तो माफ कर सके, झूठ से बचे रहे, सच कदम भरे, खुद को जय करे, हमको मन की शक्ति देना, मुश्किलें पड़े तो हम पर हित न कर्म कर, साथ दे तो धर्म का, चले तो धर्म पर, खुद पे हौसला रहे, बदी से ना डरे, दूसरों की जय से पहले खुद को जय करे, हमको मन की शक्ति देना।
Good morning, all. We are giving tribute to our great master Samuel Hahnemann for this divine science and taught us dare to be wise. Seeking blessings from our Guru, Dr. Prafull Vijayakar sir, who have made this divine science and bridge it with the modern science and make homeopathy mathematics very easy. Jai Hahnemann, Jai Homeopathy, Om Vijayakaraya Namah. So we are in the journey of reading Organon along with the fourth book of Dr. Prafull Vijayakar sir, the Verbatim. It was the workshop conducted in 2002 at Mahabaleshwar and the learnings of this. So up till now in Organon we have read about the aphorism 82, and from today we are starting with the process of case taking, the aphorism number 83. So most of time we have to understood the man in disease and what is the man. So what we need to require to understand the man, and that is what the wisdom of Samuel Hahnemann tells us in these aphorisms. I hope all of you are gone through these aphorisms and know new things from. But whenever you are reading the same aphorism again and again, then you will get the idea that what master is giving you the idea of understanding man. So this is what we are starting with the aphorism number 83. In aphorism number 82, it was written that in investigations of the everything, we need to find out the individualizations. What is the strict and particular to that individual? That has to be find out. In that case, we have a acute and a chronic. In acute, everything is striking to us and self-evident, while in a chronic, it is a long process, so we need to inquire into it. So for that, these aphorisms are given into considerations, and this is general guidelines of Master Hahnemann for all of us to find out what is there in the man. So this individualizing examinations of the case of the disease, for which I shall only give in this place a general directions, of which the practitioner will bear in mind only what is applicable for each individual case. Demand of physicians, nothing but. So physician has this quality. All of you all know the organon class, but still we are reading further so that we can understand Hahnemann in a better sense. So freedom from prejudice, the sound senses, attentions in observing, and fidelity in tracing the picture of the disease. So this is what the four quality which physician has to be required into it. I'm going a little faster because you all know about this. That's why the patient's detail and the history of the suffering. Now all we are doing the same. Those about him tell what they heard from him complain of. So this is what we have to hear. We have a sound sense of hearing so that the patient is telling everything. How he behaves. So we have to keep our eye open when the patient enter into our cabin and what they have noticed in him. So this is what this notice is by the physician also and also the relatives, they notice something which is deviated in the patient. The physician sees, hears, and remarks by his other senses what there is of an altered and unusual character about him. So this is what very important line he has written that you get all the general aspect, but what you need to observe and what you need to understand that there is an altered and unusual character about him, that is the patient. So you have to observe this is the only thing. He write and the physicians write down accurately all the patients and his friends have told him in a very expression used by them. So this is what very important. I used to remember one of my old sir, MC Joshi sir. He is a PhD guide, and I remember the quality of the sir when I used to have my first year class or second year class in the BHMS. He is coming to our college of PD. He is a very senior most doctor. So he listened everything from the patient, nothing to be right. But then after listening everything, he took a paper and he write to very expression what patient has told from first line to the last line. This is what he has a very sharp memory, and we observe that this doctor is very and he write everything what the patient is told in very expression. So that is what the quality of physician has to be developed. In aphorism number 84, again he has given idea that keeping silence himself, he allow, that means the physician has to keep silence, allow them to say all they have to say and refrain from interrupting them unless they wander off to other matter. So this is what you have to keep, that what he wanted to tell us, that you have to keep silence. And again you have to be very vigilant that if the patient is wandering from the topic, say for example, if the loquacious patient wandering from jumping from one place to another place, then you have to keep the patient to the pace. So that is what you have to keep everything. The physician advised them at the beginning of the examination to speak slowly in order that he may take down in writing the important part of what the speaker says. But this is what the time of Hahnemann. Now we have the understanding that we are just taking the video recording or audio recording the patient with the consent of the patient so that we can have a very expressions of the patients in the video and audio form so that we can have the idea of everything. In footnote number 81 about the interruptions, what interruptions do, if every interruptions break the train of thought of the narrator, the patient, and all that would have said at first does not again occur to them in a precisely the same manner after that. That is why the interruption is not to be done to the patient when patient is telling to you. In aphorism number 5, he guides us that you have to write everything in a fresh line so that every new circumstance is mentioned by the patient and his friend so that the symptoms shall be all ranged separately on below the other. Also that he can thus add to anyone so that you have to keep pace so that you can add some point below that also. When the narrator has finished everything, when the patient is finished everything, what they would say of their own accord, the physician then revert to each particular symptoms and elicit more precise information respecting it in the following manner. He read over the symptom as they were related to him one by one, and about each of them he inquire for further particular. So that is what the symptoms. For example, at what period these symptoms occur? Was it previous to taking the medicines he had hitherto been using while taking the medicines, or only some days after leaving of the medicines? What kind of the pain? What is sensations? What was occurred in the spot? Where was the precise spot? Did the pain occur in a fits or itself at various times or a modality? So this is what the many expressions of that particular things has to be taken into considerations. What was the exact nature of this or that event or circumstances mentioned? So most of time we are asking about what is happening in their life and what are the circumstances happening before the event or before the disease has been start. So that has to be taken into considerations. In aphorism number 87, and thus the physician obtain more precise information respecting each particular details, but without ever framing any question. तो डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चंस नहीं पूछने हैं ऐसा पहले बताया हुआ है. So he shall only have to answer in yes or no. Else he will be misled to answer in affirmative or negative, something untrue, half true or not strictly correct, either from indolence or in order to please the interrogation. Some patient ऐसे होते हैं जिसको पता है ये क्या कहने की जरूरत है तो नहीं बताते हैं तो that is of because of indolence. और some patient ऐसे होते हैं अरे सर को बुरा लगेगा नहीं ऐसा नहीं बोलना है अच्छा बोलना है. So that is what you have to keep in mind that don't ask direct question which suggest yes or no from which the false picture of disease and unsuitable mode of treatment must result. So this is what Master is giving idea that you should be like that. But again, he has given us idea that, for instance, the physician should not ask was not this or that circumstances present. But nowadays, our learning of GNM and idea of a connection between the cause and effect, so we just give a broad understanding that is there any this type of circumstances happening in your life, then patient can remember due to the long-standing disease, and then patient is starting narrating and giving the idea. So this is what something you have to keep in a mind. He should never be guilty of making such suggestions which tend to seduce the patient into giving a false answer and false account of his symptoms. If in this voluntary detail nothing has been mentioned respecting to several part or functions of the body or his mental state, now the physician has to take into consideration that the physician has to find out something more precise. So in order to that, you need to ask certain questions. So the physician asks what more can be told in regard to this part and these functions or the state of his dispositions and the mind. But in doing this, he only makes use of general expressions in order that his informant may be obliged to enter into special detail concerning them. So sometimes you need to be very, very general, like you need to give a general expression. Don't go into emotions of the patients. Sometimes it happens the patient becomes so emotional, doctor also becomes so emotional, and both are crying. So this is what something that you cannot do like that. So again, you need to find out very expressions of each and everything in a particular detail. So this is example was given for the general aspect of understanding of generals. what was the character of the stools and details and everything. So you can go through the organon aphorisms, and then you will find certain questions that will help you in finding out the history from the patients. So this is what the wisdom of Master Hahnemann is. So we limit our case taking to aphorism number 88 today. We further go from tomorrow in this aphorism. So again, we are in the journey of reading the workshop 2002 Mahabaleshwar conducted by Dr. Prafull Vijayakar, and every script is written in the form of verbatim. So we are reading these books. Up till now, we have read many chapters from these books, and today we are starting with the sixth chapter. So the sixth chapter defines us that the defense of organism, as we already give more importance to the miasm, and then our understanding of the disease, and then our applications of the medication to the disease has been selected. So in the last session, we have understood that the name of the disease is not important. We just need to treat the three process, and that three process has to be like the process of. If anyone has to ask something, if you have any question, you can put into chat box. So defense of the organism, the Hahnemann way. When we were in the college, this was the time of Sir. So Sir was giving idea that when we were in the college, a particular sentence would always disturb me when the best selected remedy failed to improve. Give an anti-miasmatic remedy indicated. So this was the things that is okay. So this particular sentence itself is a ridiculous sentence, because how can the best selected remedy fail? If the remedy is failing, how can it is called as best selected? In short, you have not included the miasm in that holistic approach. Somewhere the physician has not understood the miasm and yet gives this that remedy. For example, the destruction anywhere in the tissue will indicate the syphilitic miasm. If patient is suffering from the paralysis, what is the reason for that? The cerebrovascular accident, embolism, infarct, thrombosis, space-occupying lesions, or degenerative disease like a motor neuron disease, or necrosis of a nervous system, or a tissue, or a demyelination. One has to assess the cause if we have to treat the patient properly. So that is what very important aspect of understanding. Assess the cause. The effect is there, but we need to assess the cause. So assess the cause if we have to treat the patient properly. It could be even due to the ischemia. If the patient has gone into paralysis due to thrombosis or embolus, causing ischemia to the part, whether he can get the same remedy as the patient has gone into paralysis due to cerebrovascular accident. One is distinctly psychotic and other is distinctly syphilitic. So this is what you have to understand, that the presentations remain same, but the cause is different, as we have learned in the theory of separations, that what sir has said, that in even in miasm book in introduction, sir has said that in one case of the unconsciousness interrupted by the coma, the doctor has given belladonna. In that case, the case was meningitis, another case was the space occupying lesion, and another case of a degenerative disorder. So belladonna do not work in that case. The same symptoms is there. So you need to find out what was the cause behind that, either a psychotic or syphilitic. If the patient has MND, motor neuron disease, or a senile dementia, can the remedy be same in the same case of a paralysis? No, absolutely not. So many a time you need to find out the cause. Now, for example, Nux vomica is essentially a soric remedy, but then does it have any syphilitic condition? Yes. Sorry. Paralysis in Nux vomica is due to cerebrovascular accidents. The Nux vomica can go from the sora to the syphilis. It never has a tumor or growth. So this is what Sir has understood, that Nux vomica has never have a growth or tumor. So you can find out any rubric in tumor. Is there Nux vomica is there in tumor or no? So we will find it is difficult for the patient of MND to respond to the Nux vomica unless Nux vomica has psychotic phase. So miasm has to be considered in each and every remedy so that we have to consider the pathology of the patient as well as the mental state which has to be similar to the miasm. So very important is this pathology of the patient as well as the mental state which has to be similar to the miasm. The mind, the body and the disease and the patient as a whole have shown the same miasm everywhere. Then only you can cure with a single dose. Otherwise, you go in a zigzag direction. Therefore, the remedy has to cover the miasm, the general, the physical, the attitude, and only then it is the right minimum. So this is what very important aspect of our understanding. Now, defense is an attempt by the organism to achieve the steady state of the preserve the vitality as per the aphorism number 74. We already read in the yesterday sessions. The primary defense of every cell is the physiological defense and it is mother of every disease. So every cell has to be primary defense when it is fighting, it's fight for the survival. So every cell's fight for the survival. So it is the most primitive defense which every cell has. All other defenses are the secondary and which is called as a morphological defense are based on the primary defense. Then Hahnemann has said that every disease primarily starts with the sora and no one in this world can be free from Sora. If he is free of Sora, he will not survive. He will have no defense. Therefore, all disease in humans start with the inflammation, whether it is figward or a chancre. Irritations will give rise to inflammation, which gives rise to either growth or destruction. So, no disease can be free from Sora. This is what a modern understanding of our process. How we will put it into mental. In Sora, there is a discontinuity in the skin, intactness is gone. So, what will be the mental attitude? Suppose there is an injury on the head, and in the crowd of 200 people, you are going to take a food. How will you behave? You will have a constant fear either that someone will touch it, or it will pain, or could bleed, or get infected, or form a pus and go to gangrene, or it will heal late. So many fear in the mind, you are ready to fear. So ready to fear is the anxiety, which is the base of Sora. It arises out of the inhibitions or the shortage of the nutrition and out of discontinuity. Already we have read this in the Miasm book, but again we are revising because the wisdom of Sir is there in the workshop that guide us everything from the Sir's understanding. The basic feeling in sorry people is anxiety and ready to fear. Now, if yet someone goes on touching, you get more and more timid and inhibited and get afraid to go into crowd. Again, many fear in the mind. This is the basic sorry thinking. He will be timid, anxious, and many thoughts in the mind. Irritability, desire to escape from that place. I should come out of it. Because this, there is a lack of confidence, there is no performance, and despite having the quality, this man suffer from lack of confidence. There is lot of apprehensions. So these are the symptoms of Sora, Soric mind. Now, Kelkiria Kaab is typical pictures of Soric anxiety. Normally, in any situation, is carried to the brain, processed there, and then the resultant actions is learned. This is what the functioning of the brain. In Kelkiria Kaab, suppose they are touched with a burning candle, it will go slowly to the brain, and in the brain it will go on contemplating. It tries to process the particular thought. What should I do? If I fight, what will happen? I will get hurt, etc. So many things are going on in their mind that it is difficult for them to take a decision. The decision is not conveyed down at all. There is utter confusion. So Calcuria has this phenomenon, utter confusion. If he is asked to drive a car, he will first think, what if I get stuck in the middle of traffic? What if someone comes in the middle of the road and I am not able to press the brake on the time? What if the engine conks off or battery goes down, etc. Therefore, before driving, he is thinking so many things and resultant is no action at all. This continuous process. going on in the computer causes that man to feel, oh my god, this is utterly confusing and I think I am going to go mad. So that is what the feeling of calcaria is. No result is coming out. At the same time, he feels I am not able to take a decision. I am getting confused and now people will laugh at me. So getting confused and people at laugh at me. So this delusion, illusions of calcaria, fear of going insane, people think I will go insane, etc. is the hallmark of calcaria cup. Just because of anxiety and apprehension, whereas exactly opposite in Brighta cup, whose message does not reach the brain at all, everything is shut or stunted, the message does not get processed and a fixed reaction is always ready. I am sure that I will not be able to do it. This gives the delusions of legs are cut off, and if someone is talking there, he feels I am surely that they are talking about me only. He will never think of any other possibility at all. This is the difference between the Sora and the psychosis. The Soric anxiety is apprehension, anticipation, is so marked that it does not allow that man to perform or come to the end of that particular thing which he has to be accomplished. So the Soric sulfur also has so many thoughts going on in his mind, gets hung up and there is no result. This is not so much with the psychotic sulfur. So anywhere when there is much anxiety, apprehensions, lack of confidence, inhibition, it is the Sora. The second defense or the morphological defense of the accumulation start because the genes undergo such changes that excess productions and excessive accumulation takes place. This arises from the basic feeling that the cell has now feeling frail, fragile, and it is fearful. So everything start, second defense start with the feeling of frail, fragile, or fearful. I am sure that I am going to get hurt. There is a fear of death, and he is a coward, and because of this, he will not be able to face this. So he wanted to strengthen and cover up. So in defense, he want to strengthen and cover up. He is covering up his weakness and becoming thick. He is putting to show off the facade and hiding his weakness to deceive the world. So this is what a show off and deceive facade and hiding his weakness to deceive the world. He is a brainy fellow, so shrewdly maneuver his defenses. He accumulate multiplies, hold not only proteins, water, carbohydrate, but also money. In India, Bombay, itaint of psychosis is coming from small land with the 20 million people. What is going to happen? The food, the amenity are going to be the same. Supply is the same and demand is more. So what happened? Everyone wants to live, so he tries to take something to accumulate, and if he cannot get it straight away, he will try to rob or flick it because he wants to survive and wants food. So many people in Bombay cannot get house to live, so they make their houses smaller and smaller until they become slum. This is the pitiful situations, but this is due to excess populations, lack of nutrition, and the need to survive. So they have to earn and accumulate money, but there are no enough opportunity for job. So they try to deceive or bribe and take the job. So this all are deceiving, bribing are the key features of the psychosis. Accumulating multiplications, hold something, money, these all are psychosis. Shrewdly maneuvers, so these are psychosis. Now, but whenever these psychotic peoples are speaking, they are very fearful that they will be caught. So they have to get themselves trained in such a manner that you do not come to know that they are flick. This is an art. From an intact purse, the money disappear. You never know. This is psychotic. But there is a constant fear. So psychosis is based on the fear, fright, insecurity with love of life and fear of death, and they do it in order to survive. So everything is for survival. Sorry. Once they go higher and higher, make more money, and then they employ other people because they are not going to risk their lives any further. So they collect money to become safe and now employ others to earn money for them. So most of the mafia dons in the world of mafia gang, they themselves will not go to fight. They use money and hire people so they are safe. They love their lives. Who do these people employ? They employ the syphilitic people. In Sora, there are many fears and anxiety. In psychosis, there is one fear at a time, fear of dog, cat, unknown, or fear of being alone in the dark. When Soric and psychotic persons go into dark room, the Soric will think, what if I go there and there is something inside? What if I get burned? Or there is a snake inside, or which will be bite me. So many thoughts. This is anxiety. Maybe something will creep out of the corner. Whereas a psychotic will say, I am not going. I am sure there is a dog inside, or there is a man inside, or there is a ghost inside, or there is something inside. If you tell him, please go into that cemetery and come, he is afraid because of ghost of unknown. So he will say, actually, I would have gone, but I have got an important appointment right now. I am not afraid of ghosts. This is the rationalization trying to justify by giving a wrong excuse. It is the psychotic phenomena. So, psychotic people will manipulate you. The same psychotic with the passage of time and less food and starvation then start losing his faith in life. Do hell with the consequences. I am going to rob or steal even if I lose my life. I will see whatever happen. He is now going into a state of syphilitic. So this slum people, because of lack of money and nutrition, they try to steal, deceive, move to the psychotic aspect, and then may even kill someone for just rupees 5,000. This is the syphilitic. I lost one of my cousin, a very eminent radiologist at Lilavati Hospital. He was killed by an urchin for just rupees 2,000. Such peoples are available in Bombay where they do not have anything and even 2,000 is much for them. These are called as a frank syphilitic. So this is what killing someone for the sake of something. It is also a syphilitic. They do not have anything. There is no fear of any consequences. So this is what syphilitic aspect is: no fear of any consequences. Emotion do not play an important part in their life. Emotion take hold of them. So this is the syphilitic. In Sora and psychosis, the person has emotions and has control over them. In syphilis, there is no control of his emotions. So this is very important aspect of understanding that when the emotions control gone, think it is a syphilis. It is like a car where the steering wheel is not connected to the front wheel. So the car is controlling him and taking him to destruction. This is the syphilitic miasm. Syphilitic miasm takes man to the destruction irrespective of what he is doing. It is not under his control and just goes and bang and end into destruction. At that time, when the brakes fail, the car is not responding. He goes into anguish, panic. So these are the present. Tries to open the door and jumps out. So this is what, not bother about the speed of the car, not bother about other cars coming behind him or overrunning him. So this is what, for survival of the whole, sacrifice the part. Again, it is the syphilis. So Sora is anxiety, psychosis is fear, and syphilis is anguish and panic. So fear in dark, anxiety in dark, and anguish in dark all are completely different. In Bombay, there was a fire in the train in the ladies' compartment, and there were ladies who started running here and there, crying and thinking what to do. Should I jump? Should I jump from the door or a window? How will I reach there? And started crying. This is the anxiety which caused them to run here and there. One who really panicked were those who jump out of the running train, only to be overrun by other running train and were killed. They are completely syphilitic. Not bother about the consequences. The psychotic female were waiting, let them jump, so we will jump over them and be safe. The excessive thoughts and idea are in their brain. Most gurus, saints, scientists belong to the psychotic classes. They says no Nobel Prize is won until you become old and gray. It is true. You cannot get a Nobel Prize when you are sorry. You need to have that intelligent mind. Most of us present here are in the psychotic state. Psychosis deal with the fertility, mitosis, and meiosis, either excess or less. So, increased sexual desire, womanization is also psychotic to the extent that they become perverted, and once perversion sets in, it is syphilitic. So, this is what very important. I must go and get myself sexually gratified. This is syphilitic as in cantharis. This is perverted. See the rage, the violence, the personifications of Cantharis. The expressions of the inflammations is also acute violent thinking burning. Burning of Cantharis is known as riotous burning. So this is what a syphilitic in nature. Urging, not satisfied, he is also not in control of his urinary urge. Excessive urge, desire. There was a lady who said, whenever I get fever, I get so violent, I am ashamed of myself. I go and catch hold of a man if he does not listen to me. This is not just anger or irritability, this is riotous. This is the syphilitic anger, rage, and violence. When you are going in syphilitic car, the motorcycle, it is out of control. The key word of the syphilis is out of control, is the only word. So the car is going anywhere without any direction. It does not take a straight route but a distorted one. So the another key word is distortion. We saw it a morphogenetic gradient, the mosaic type. It is heavy. More the distortion, more the perversion, more out of control, more is the syphilis. So this is what very expressions of the syphilis. So anxiety, lack of confidence, and irritability is soric. Fearful, cunning, deceitful, hiding, showy is psychotic, and one who does not bother what will happen to his life or someone else's life just out of control, getting hold of emotion is syphilitic. Drinking alcohol start again the example the drinking alcohol start as a soric habit as a social drink drinking at party or socializing or higher living goes to the psychotic drinking hidingly and then you become a slave of it and it become the master and then he is not drinking alcohol but the alcohol is drinking him. It is syphilitic. The most actors, the politicians, all are psychotic. They have to project a facade. Film of yesteryear with the songs of the Mukesh Saigal were purely soric. It was a search time when everything was a pure soric song. The hero would weep with the disappointment in love. There was a safe distance between the hero and the heroine. They would just express their love purely soric love. After 1965 to 70, the psychotic age comes showing kissing, the girl and boy coming more close to each other. Then shamelessness started. The love was first hidden. Now they show all obscene scenes. See the miasm even in terms of human social values also. So survival of the species is the second natural functions of the human being. If every man marries a man, every woman marries a woman, it is the end of mankind going toward the destruction. So here, homosexuality is abnormal, syphilitic, and it is dangerous. So this is what the expressions of the love. There is a soric love, there is a psychotic love, and there is a syphilitic love. Now, sir is giving a case of, so this case is giving a very good understanding in our perspective. So we are starting with the case. A child was having a leukoderma. She was treated homeopathically with the arsal flavum 6x. Many homeopaths know about this remedy. It is a wonderful therapeutic remedy for the leukoderma, but without consideration miasm, it may land into separation. So this is what something we have to keep in a mind. She was treated homeopathically with the arsal flavum 6x 3 times per day, and she had come to my college OPD at the age of 12. In the meantime, this child had so many changes in her nature. I asked her, "What is your name?" The name was feminine. I said, "You are a girl? Are you girl?" She was wearing a pant and shirt with a boy cut hair, looking just like a boy. This was the observation, and the patient is giving you a name of feminine. So I asked the mother, since when is she like this? Since the last 3 4 years, she does not want to wear any feminine clothes, jewelry, lipstick, etc. She does not like to play with the girls. She play only with the boys and says, "I am a boy." This is the man's habit. This shows that the destructive miasm in the skin has been rooted destructive thinking process at the level of mind also. She is now thinking, I am a boy and not a girl, and I should marry a girl. She is having a female organ but is not making use of it. She is growing up as a male to marry a female. Is she ever going to menstruate? No. Is she ever going to conceive? No. I then asked about her menses. The mother said she is 13 years old, but yet no sign of it. This is the child is going toward the destruction of the species. This is the syphilitic miasm. I asked her to stop arsulflavum and we will give you a medicine after which the first thing that you should expect that she should start thinking that she is a female. So this is what a reversal of the miasm is. She will start liking girls' ornament, lipstick, etc. And it did happen. The next time she came to me after 2 months, her mother said that surprisingly she had asked for lady skirts and she was ready to wear it. Few months later, she came with the ornament and the lipstick, so she is now coming to the psychotic, painting herself looking good facade. Now she has come from the syphilitic to psychotic, then only multiplications and proliferations of the melanocyte will take place. So destruction will stop. If we are not aware of it, we will go on treating the disease which is wrong. So think of that. Extending to that extent and understand the process of miasm. I am still surprised how people say forget the miasm. Her remedy was given on the basis of many habits, that is the petroleum. Now you have seen the mental aspect of the miasm, the clue, the basic word have been given to you, just have to apply now. The first thing in SORA is inflammation, inhibitions, and hyponutrition, giving rise to anxiety. The second we saw the disturbances in the reproduction process, giving rise to poverty, facade, hiding, and then the destructive phenomena of the syphilitic miasm, giving rise to destructions in the tissue, also destruction, perversion, distortion, and out of control mentally. The same rubric can have a soric, psychotic, and syphilitic miasm. Do not expect only one miasm in one particular rubric. For every disease, SORA is the base. Not all diseases go to the syphilitic. Some people talk of tuberculosis and cancers. So most of the disease with the deep-seated pathology are trimiasmatic. So you have to keep in mind whenever there is a cut or a groove or a discontinuity, automatically the body start healing and the tissue meet each other. As soon as they touch each other, there is a feedback system which asks them to stop and break. So every time there is a cut, heal, break cycle. Then the body gets tired and then there is no feedback mechanism and excessive growth start. As the growth increases, the nutrition go on decreasing and the cells become smaller and smaller in size. And finally, there is a destruction. Apply this to the tuberculosis. The tubercular bacilli enter the respiratory system and causes irritation there, and then the tubercle are formed. Pathology is now growth, so psychotic. So pleuritis, inflammation, the primary complex is soric. Once the glands start appearing, it is psychotic, and later it goes to the syphilitic, there is a cavity formation. Therefore, it is the combinations of the all miasm. Similarly, in cancer, there is a irritations and inflammation at first, the sora, then growth, psychotic, and then ulceration, the syphilitic. Some cancer do not go to the ulceration at all. They may be sauropsychotic. In these are the point. In psoriasis, there is a excessive proliferation of the ectoderm, but the problem does not lies not in the ectoderm, but in the dermis. There is a excessive scaling. Here it is a psoric and psychotic. But when it goes to the extent of the cracks and bleeding, it becomes syphilitic. So most diseases follow the same pattern of IgD. Very important. Inflammation, growth, and destruction. If there is a psychotic disease, can the mind be Soric, psychotic, or syphilitic? Can there be a discrepancy? There will be two types. A patient with a psychotic miasm comes with the disease in a soric or psychotic or syphilitic state. At the same time, we are facing soric disease, and with our medicines, we push them to psychotic or syphilitic. In leukoderma case, she was pushed to syphilitic miasm. She was not destructive first. There are three phases of polychromy as we have learned in miasm book, the triamiasmatic study of the sulfur. So there are three phases of the polychrest remedy. For example, sulfur, we have a suric sulfur who is ragged philosopher, goes on thinking, very anxious about his health, apprehensive, not bother about his appearance. The psychotic sulfur is very well dressed from outside, but his inner shirt is not washed or clean, so he puts an overcoat to hide the inner shirt. The syphilitic sulfur has a strange and weird faces and strange ideas and opinion. All remedy in materia medica have so many rubrics. A particular remedy like sulfur is found in timidity and in courageous also, obstinacy and yelling also. You must understand that it is the miasmatic concept. It is not the polarity concept. Already we have read this in the book of miasm. So miasm is mother of homeopathy of everything in this world. I hope you will practice it and give me your feedback. So this today we will end our sessions here. No. We'll take this very important aspect of understanding how the look features of the person looks in Sora, psychosis, and syphilis, and then we will complete today's sessions. Okay. So this chapters is for the observation purpose, and whenever you observe any individual and on the basis of that observations you can understand that the what was the miasmatic process in the patients. So this is what when you are observing the face features like a head. So if you found there is a normal head, the head is correspond to the normalcy of the body structure, then it is a sura. Whenever you find some hydrocephalic head, a large overgrown head, it is mostly a psychotic. Or sometimes you find a microcephalic child in a mental retarded child, it is also a psychosyphilitic. Psychosis less or may goes into destruction lead to the syphilitic. So whenever you find the head, normal head, then it is a sura. A large or a small head, it may be a psychosis, overgrown, or lot of bony prominence is psychotic. Or sometimes if there is a syphilitic distortions is found in the head, then it is syphilitic. So if it is distorted, then it is syphilitic. The face, the face type, sir has understood the physiognomy. On the basis of that, sir has given the idea that there is a three types of faces called as a mental faces, vital faces, or a motive faces. So mental faces having a tapering chin, there is no ugliness, no repulsion. So everything look like a very sharp features. For example, in the calcarea, the persons look tall, lean with a sharp feature. These are the sura. There is a rounded or a squarish face or a contour. These are called as the vital face, mostly the psychotic. The motive face is a syphilitic. The prominent chubby cheeks with the sora. There is a sharp nose. So opium with the rounded and contented face. Calcarea carb is a fat, fatty with the pointed chin. So these are the psychotic. Whenever you find a distorted, ugly, or perverted, or some abnormal or repulsive things by looking at the face, then it is a syphilitic face. Appearance, uh, the soric appearance is bright, active, and quick. Sora leads to a man astray. The psychotic appearance is very sober, covered, rationalizer, and very facade. Psychotic lead a man for the satisfactions of the urges and the gratifications. Increased need demands with the accumulative tendency. So when there is increased need, it is called as a greed. Appearance is dull, stupid, or distorted. So syphilitic lead the man to the distractions. Even it was written in obstinate, but sometimes the obstinate appearance is different that it cannot understand the or control of their intellect has gone into obstinacy, then this is a syphilitic. The emotions, the anxiety of going mad, anxiety that people will observe my confusions, The restless moves about fast. These are the soric anxiety. So when anxiety goes in fixing things, the fear of fixed things, these are the psychotic. The restlessness compelled to move slowly, this is psychotic. And this anxiety got exaggerated to such an extent, patient may lead to the anguish or a panic state, and sometimes may lead to the self-destruction leading to suicide. So these are the syphilitic anxiety. Life and death. So in syphilitic, there is a restlessness, wars at night, and in a frenzy, fast and destruction. Life and death. In Sora, everyone loves for the life. There is a fear of death, anxiety that something will happen and he will die. He fear death and is sure that he will die. This is the Soric anxiety. In psychosis, love for life is so much so that there is a fear of death is constant, a fear of suffering is constant, but the patient will not show it up and put up as a facade. मुझे डर नहीं लग रहा है, but I love my life. So that is what I love luxury. I love safety. I love luxurious cars and everything. So this is what psychosis is. And in syphilis, no love for life, no fears, they just act. For example, soldiers can be syphilitic, but they die for the cause. But whereas a terrorist is also a syphilitic. So one is a good syphilis, one is a bad syphilis. But they both do not love the life. In creativity, the soric creativity, the drawing, painting is the benign nature of the brain. So this is the soric creativity. Psychotic creativity is copying, stealing, and create, and the pseudo creativity. So old wine in the new bottle will hear 10 people and print out a book saying it is my idea. This is psychotic. So this is the psychotic creativity. And syphilitic creativity is very weird modern art. The artists themselves do not know what is the painting. For example, a man without head or with one arm or will go to one arm. These are the syphilitic creativity. So right now we see the modern art, and this modern art is nothing but a syphilitic creativity is. The joy, the emotion joy is there. The soric joy is very excited. Will invite people for the party, distribute the sweets and cheerfulness everywhere. So this is a soric joy. Psychotic joy will give a big party in a big hotel and not call friends, but will call leaders, politicians, ministers with the best food and the best orchestra, mirth, arranging everything with the best. So right now you all have heard the Ambani's son's wedding, pre-wedding shoots. So this is something called as a psychotic joy. Everything is psychosis. And syphilitic will go to the discotheques and freak out with the light music, changing beats, and exuberance and ecstasy. This joy goes into out of control, and sometimes they goes into ecstasy phase, sometimes they goes into exhilaration, sometimes they goes into ecstasy, sublime. So this is something called as joy goes into out of control. Mental activity, the hyperactive are the soric, the malactive or bad active is psychotic, and underactive is syphilitic. So he is dull, stupid, and stupidity, and there also a obstinacy. What the soric people do in danger? So in Soric people, they become so apprehensive, timid, nervous with anticipatory anxiety, whereas psychotic people is in danger, they try to hide or escape or make excuse because of schematic mind. Whereas in syphilitic persons, those who are in danger, they try to escape with the impulse to escape or the foolish action without thinking what was the consequences. So they become fearlessness and no love for life. Again, when we go to the memory, so memory, the sharp but forgetfulness goes blank because of nervousness under the stress is the soric memory. For example, in interview, someone forget everything. In exam, he knows everything. He has the idea, but he forget because of nervousness. That is a soric memory. Whereas psychotic, the overloaded, preoccupied with too many things, therefore forgets and become absent-minded. These are the psychotic. Some businesses who at times forget their own wife also. These are also the psychotic memory, the forgetfulness. In syphilitic, there is the complete destruction of the memory. It is called amnesia, either not developed or underdeveloped or dull or will remember other things, or sometimes the exaggerated memory. So it is so much so acute memory is also a syphilitic in nature. Mischief, the mischief is also there is a soric mischief, does not harm anybody. Very benign mischief are the soric mischief, does harm others by sly, deceitful, but not to harm his life. This is psychotic, and encephalitic harm others badly and very idiotic mischief. So you all know that the children put a pin below the seat of the teacher, and teacher hurt badly. This is the syphilitic mischief. So you need to understand everything, either an emotion, either a behavior, either a look, either a facial gesture in terms of miasm. And the libertinism is mostly a psychotic in nature and psychotic shallow. So ladies is trying to find liberty by giving excuses or rationalizations. We are equal to the men. There is no difference between two sexes. We should have equal rights and same life as a man. These are the component of the libertinism. And this is the starting point, and then this libertinism goes into out of control indulgence into passions or sexual activity and everything that is psychosyphilitic in nature. So syphilis has been started. So this will we will end this session into this, and this is the idea that you have to keep in a mind. So one question is there. Uh, how to take the bipolar mood disorders. Still, your question is lurking. I will share one of the approach of a psychiatric which was taken by Dr. Amrish sir in the Chennai seminar. So I will share one slide of a approach in a group, so you will get a little idea about that. And for more understanding, I suggest all of you to go and learn from SCPH class. So you will get every approach from SCPH class, how to approach the case. Okay. But I will share one slide of that approach. So you will get a brief idea that how to approach psychiatric disease in the our clinic. Hope you all enjoy reading the books, and you are getting evolve in day by day in your practice. So we will conclude this day today. Thank you so much. Thank you for being with me, and thank you for motivating me to give a morning sessions. Thank you. Thank you.